And welcome back to another edition of the 480 Experience, talking about Arizona State's homecoming game. They face off against the BYU Cougars in a matchup that will pretty much determine who represents the Big 12 in the Big 12 championship. So let's get into it. Trev, how are you feeling about this one?
Just to knock things off, I think that this is a great opponent just based on the similar identity. They're very committed to the run and to stopping the run. They are a defense that is definitely cultured around mitigating splash plays. And I think that it is a cool feature that both of our teams are head coached by what I would like to consider players coaches. I think both of these guys buy into the program and they buy into the players buy into them as well.
Of course. I mean, my initial thoughts about this game is that BYU are frauds.
Okay.
BYU is a bunch of frauds. Their two biggest wins are coming to SMU, who they beat by 3. It was 18-15 for that.
Beginning of the season as well.
Beginning of the season, sure. And then the other thing that I will say is that they did wound up beating a team like Kansas State 38-9. They did whop Kansas State their third game on the year, I believe, third or fourth. However, they had struggles against Wyoming early on. They had struggles, too, against OK State. That was a very close game for them, pulling it out by 3. They also had a lot of issues, too, in the Holy War, winning by 1. And then they lose to Kansas, who is better than their record, mind you. But ASU beat Kansas, and BYU loses to Kansas. BYU is also a worse program. I personally do not like the way BYU has been running things. I think the run game can't ever get anything going for them. I think that their O-line is terrible against a good front 7. I feel like BYU's QB gets sacked way more than he should. And quite frankly, I think ASU is going to blow BYU blow them up in the backfield. Personally, I think they're going to really take this one in, and I think they're going to soak up a victory from BYU. And I think that ASU is just going to get the better of them early on and even later in the second halves.
Yeah, so I am going to go the opposite of that, okay? I think BYU is a well-run program. I think their players can be a little dirty sometimes. I'm not a big fan of them.
Interesting.
And I know BYU kind of has a little bit of a reputation as being a little chippy and kind of annoying to play against.
Yeah.
Regardless if you're a conference opponent or not, they're always just pretty chippy. So, but one thing I wanted to talk about, I think they're a well-run program. I think they're a good team. But I know when they're not good is on the road. Okay, Utah, obviously inferior opponent, 1-point win as you mentioned. UCF, probably their second best road win, but best in terms of just dominating, right?
Right.
Wins 37-24. But if you look at Baylor, that's a 6-point game.
I wanted to break down Baylor. They were playing with a huge lead, but they allowed Baylor to score 28 unanswered points, let them back into the game. They were more playing with their food. And then, obviously, you're going over away games, but there's other.
Yeah, even the Oklahoma State game, man. That's a home game, 38-35.
So we watched that one. They were playing with a deficit at halftime. They were playing with their food again, and Oklahoma State fumbled it. But both of those teams, if they were a more structured, a more consistent and detail-oriented team, then they probably would have finished BYU.
Yeah, I agree. And Arizona State in that position that Oklahoma State was in probably wins that game. They find a way to win that game, right? So, and then you look at, SMU. Now, SMU turned out to be pretty good. We weren't exactly sure what we were getting with SMU at that point in the season, right? But it was only an 18-15 game, right? So
agreed. And SMU was able to put a stop down with their secondary. That's what they really held BYU to, and I think that it's going to be something we're going to see with ASU again, where they're just not going to have anything going on the ground, and that they're going to have to really rely on their wide receivers. And I don't think BYU can do that for a whole game.
No, and so my broader point is I think it's a well-run program, but I think they have a lot of weaknesses, and there's a lot of people who don't really understand, but their running game just isn't great. It's okay. LJ Martin's okay. He's okay. But
he's mid.
Yeah, the BYU Retzloff he's pretty good. He's one of the better QBs in the Big 12.
LJ put 120 on Oklahoma State, 100 on UCF, 68 and 76 the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, average Cam's
It's
gotta
average
be.
Big 12.
It's an average. Yeah, Big 12 has had some good running backs
He
this
does
year.
not break the top 6.
He
at
doesn't.
all.
He certainly does not. Oh, I guess we lost one of our cameras. That's fine. But yeah, so I think they're a well-run school. I think they have the makings of a good team, but I don't think this is their year. I think they have a lot of issues, specifically starting with that running game, and then I think playing from behind and playing with elites. They're just not. They're not awesome. Like they were ranked number 6 last week, but they're not an awesome team. And there was no, they were just ranked number 6 because they hadn't lost yet. They're not even close to that. I would still say they're probably maybe the 3rd or 4th best team in the Big 12.
So I'll give you guys this. You ready?
Yeah.
Overall, on the general aspect of our 5 home games this season,
Okay.
what has been the main contributing factor to those wins? For me, I'm just going to be real quick with it. I think we've been able to control the line of scrimmage in every game we've played in Tempe this year.
I agree.
And turnovers.
I think the front 7 and turnovers have been the biggest key factor.
Well, those go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I think
7 and turnovers.
I think I broke it down before the Utah game, but I call this an opportunity defense, right? They're not going to lock you down. Keith Abney certainly isn't locking anybody down, but is he going to go out there and get an interception, a timely one? He absolutely can do that. And
think about it. Kansas, no turnovers.
no turnovers.
Yeah.
And that was our
But still-
closest home game, I would
no,
say.
UCF, Kansas, same
We're
score.
the exact same.
Yeah,
It was the same.
Yeah.
You could, they're about the same, yeah.
If
Yeah.
I was to say which one was probably the tougher one, I would probably say it was definitely Kansas.
No, I would
No,
say
UCF.
UCF because we didn't have
were
Scatterbill.
down.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's
We
fair.
were
I can
down.
see what you're
RJ
saying.
Harvey played amazing, and
But
if
fantastic.
it weren't for that pick 6 with 50 seconds left in the second half,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
different
You're
kid.
right.
No, yeah.
But yeah, this BYU squad in total to me just does not look complete. I feel like there's a lot of gaps here. I think that their offensive line is terrible. I think that Retzloff gets sacked way too much. I think that they can't compete against a good front 7, and that's what ASU has over most teams in the Big 12.
Yes, I think the decision making of Retzlaff will be revealed this Saturday.
I agree, and I'm interested to see. I have been a big time hater of Marcus Arroyo. I have been a big time hater with Marcus Arroyo. I know I've stressed it to you guys, but if my mind
He's
will
cold.
certainly
He's
change.
Definitely a little cold.
My
I'll
mind
give you
will
that.
certainly change depending on how this upcoming weekend goes. And I feel like if ASU is able to get the better half of BYU's defense, who's done a great job on the secondary, and their front 7's been great too. If Marcus Arroyo can prove to me that this team can go out and score early on in the first half for back-to-back weeks, my mind might be changed a little bit, and I might be back on the Marcus Arroyo train.
I want to bring some more spotlight to this component of just college football, but also in our case. What quarterback in this nation have we seen developed like Sam Leavitt through the season? So
None.
When I
I
mean,
haven't seen any.
quarterbacks across college football, Carson Beck has, if anything's gotten worse.
He's
Quinn Ewers,
terrible.
if anything, has
He's gotten worse.
Jackson Dart, if anything's gotten worse.
I don't know about that one. I think
Milrow.
Dart's improved.
I've liked
Milrow?
Milrow's.
The best first half against Georgia. Has he played a half like that ever again?
No.
We haven't seen the development of these quarterbacks, and just in terms of responding to the natural flow of the season and having these quarterbacks just grow, right?
Yeah.
You see their decision making, their athleticism, like the intangibility of them as a college football player, and them developing into a different prospect and for Sunday football, for NFL football. And we've seen that with Sam Leavitt. Name a quarterback who's developed this season in the Big 12. You could maybe make an argument for Shador, and that is it. Everyone is out the window.
Well, Shador was always kind of proven, more or less. He was always kind of that
But
guy
that's
that
the
everybody
beauty in
backed
it.
on.
There's
Kinda.
no other team in the Big 12 that hosts a quarterback who's merely grown from game one
Nope.
to now. Looks like a night and day difference, because all we could believe in Sam Leavitt was that he could make the right read on a 2 or 3 route play action play.
Right.
We didn't see anything within the move the chains, get a 2nd and 5, get us in 3rd and short situations with your system throws. And that is just a component that I really wanted to highlight.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're completely right about it. I mean, Sam Leavitt won his 4th Newcomer of the Week award. He went back to back, and
Top 10
won-
in PFF.
Yeah,
too.
he won
He's
2 already.
What? 7th or 8th best rookie or freshman quarterback by PFF in the last decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And Sam
And you say he's playing within the scheme, but he's also playing above it.
agreed.
Like
He's playing above expectations.
He's extending these plays. And I love how our game plan has catered to his strengths. We put so many good screen plays in this offense. We put so many good play action plays in the middle of the field. Like Kamon Mater is still having a great season. Xavier Guillory gets his targets here and there.
Yeah.
Melquan gets his targets here and there. But when you are just winning with that JT matchup, you just keep doing it.
Yeah, the
If
1-2 punch
it ain't
works.
broke, you don't fix it.
Agreed. And, that's something that I love to see from Sam Levitt. Cam Scadaboo and JT both coming out, back-to-back weeks winning, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Weeks. They're guys that can
And
perform
that's
on all
hard
fronts.
to do,
It
especially
is.
with Travis Hunter in this conference.
Yeah, Cam Scadaboo's won 2 already. JT's won 2 as well. And then Sam Levitt's won 1. So out of the few weeks that we've already been into it, ASU's won 5 Offensive Player of the Week awards. Defense
And
has
we
been
don't
great.
get a college game day acknowledgement.
Oh
Come
my
on,
gosh!
man.
But Cal got one.
Yeah,
but Cal got one.
one.
Well, it was beginning of the season, and there's
I
nothing
don't
going
want
on.
I don't.
hear
I
it.
actually don't
That's
care when
stupid.
it
But
was.
But that's my argument. The Big 12 will
actually
probably not host a college game day unless it's early season.
Yeah.
so disappointing.
Because when we're looking at the SEC, there's a lot going on.
Trust me.
SEC and Big Ten, there's a ton going on.
No,
but
not in the Big Ten.
you don't think so?
There's nothing going on. There's one game, Indiana, Ohio State.
Okay, but that's massive. That's massive. What do you mean there's nothing
If
going
it's-
on?
Why is it massive if it's a 2-possession spread?
Okay,
Because
but
everyone
but
knows
if
Ohio
Indiana
State's gonna show up.
comes out in upsets, well then why is College Game Day going to that game if it's not big?
It realistically shouldn't. But the
Because
biggest reason
No, yeah.
Indiana has never gone 10-0 in school history, but that doesn't mean they're a good
No, that's
contender
not-
for the championship.
that's not why. It's because Ohio State has a shot to lock down the Big Ten championship with a win over Indiana. That's
There
the
we go.
biggest
That's
reason.
why.
And they want
And
to
then
cover
Indiana
and
can
Indiana's undefeated, 10-0 first time in school history.
and
they have
Indiana
Coach of the
could
Year.
get themselves back into the Big Ten race if they with the win.
Which
They-
they technically would. Actually, yeah.
They
It
would
leave
no.
a lot of-
They would just have to win their next game and they'd be
Literally.
in.
Actually, no, they'd be locked in. They would be locked in because their only other
They'd be undefeated,
Yeah,
though.
because they'd be
Oh
undefeated
yeah,
in
that's
conference
true.
play.
And then if they
And
lost,
their
and then-
last
there
game
we
of the
go.
season is a non-conference play too, meaning they beat out
It's for
Penn
the
State
Big
and Ohio
It's for
State.
the Big Ten, but
Yeah.
our game's for the Big 12.
And yeah, that's the argument why they should come here, right? It's also equally, in my mind, as intriguing. I think people put, some arbitrary expectations on certain conferences, and we get it. The SEC probably has more talent, but has
that
the
is
SEC
what-
been that competitive
That
this
is what
year?
the case is. Everyone has a predisposed narrative of Big 12 football. You see it in comment sections all over social media. They just say,
Is Trev
well,
a comment section warrior? Is that what we're hearing?
this conference isn't competitive. There's not.
Oh,
a
I
good
hate
team in
it,
this
dude. I see it on
conference.
every post.
When
Guys,
we
we're
now
beating-
have 4 teams inside of the top side of the
We're
AP's top
beating
25.
each other up. It
Yeah.
happens. SEC is doing the same thing, except when they don't schedule the incomplete
Just a
opponent.
band walking around, marching band. What the heck? Okay,
That's
keep
awesome.
going.
I can't wait to see it. But
I mean, ASU is going to go into this looking to shake the bed. They're really trying to. Well, sorry.
Was that a soaking? Was that a soaking metaphor?
It was, but I was hoping
That wasn't good. That wasn't good.
Sorry.
Don't do that.
We're going to be
Shake
soaking
them.
with ASU.
We were gonna be
We're shake
shaking the-
bed. We're going to be the shakers. Kansas was the other member that was a part of it, and
Yeah.
they shook things up. They shook the bed. Now ASU looks to do it as well as they want to get into the Big 12 chip. That's all it is. ASU just needs to win over BYU and needs to win over U of A. U of A is a trap game. You got to be like the Steelers and beat your trap. But it's just one of those things that you want to look back on and you just want to see ASU perform well. They're a squad that wants to prove that the Big 12 is a tough division. Unfortunately, I will say that if ASU does win, I feel like a lot of people are going to be on the boat where it's like BYU is, they're a crap
They're not
team.
good. They're not good.
The Big 12 just sucks. I think it's
no
what's
matter
gonna
what,
happen.
no matter what Arizona State does, they won't gain the recognition. And I talked about that last week in the Kansas State episode. If
Yeah.
any of you guys watched, I said, the only thing separating Kansas State, who was ranked 16th at the time, and Arizona State, who was ranked about
they were
27th,
previously ranked.
Yeah.
was that people came in to Big 12 match play with ideas about both squads that were vastly different. And Kansas State was confirmation bias, and then they ignored Arizona State, right? So that was the only thing separating these two squads in my mind, and I think in a lot of Arizona State fans' mind. And that spread, what was it, 7.5, 8.5? Disrespectful. We all said it. College Game Day came out. They disrespected Arizona State, but I think that's how Arizona State likes it. I
love it like
I
that.
think
like the
they
underdogs.
want to be disrespected. I think they want people to doubt them, and I think Dillingham
Eats it up.
he eats it up. Jordan Tyson eats it up, man. Became wide receiver 1 before our very eyes. So, keep doubting Arizona State, and they're going to prove you wrong.
And again, fork them, guys.
You cannot even, you can barely see that on the camera.
There
wasn't a darker marker.
JT single-handedly playing like a first-round receiver.
Yeah.
Single-handedly. All these guys, I don't know if Scat has really put himself above the rest of the receivers in Big 12 and in just college football in general to be a first round. There's a ton of running back talent this year, but
of the draft, you don't really have
you don't
get running
yeah.
back.
Cam's not going to go undrafted.
He'll go third. He'll go third round.
Second or third. Yeah.
Second or
Second
third.
or third. And
He-
it just depends where people need him. But
not in terms of play style, but like I think it'll be more like a Kenneth Walker situation where
too.
everybody knew Kenneth Walker was a really good running back, but
Jonathan Taylor. same
Jonathan
thing.
Taylor, right? Everybody
good
knew these
comparison
guys
with that.
were good running backs, but there's not a massive need for running backs in the NFL, even though there should be.
Yeah.
And I think that switch is going to come in the next couple of years, but isn't a massive need. He'll be a third round running back. But Jordan Tyson, man, he's playing himself into a lot of money on Sunday.
The beauty of Jordan Tyson's career is he was at Colorado his first year, had a really good production, finished off his season, his last 4 games with 100+ receiving yards, was on a hot streak, and then gets injured the last game of his 2022 season with a torn MCL and ACL. Doesn't play at all in 2023, and Prime doesn't sell him back on the Colorado Buffaloes, so he transfers to ASU.
where he's going to try and get his revenge in the Big 12 championship.
That is exactly it, and that is exactly why I want to go see him on Saturday. I want to go tell that to JT, because if we win on Saturday, and
We'll get him on the
we're more
podcast.
than likely going to be playing Prime in Dallas on December 7th in Jerry's World.
Oh, Jerry
we're all
World.
scared about.
And you know who Prime loves, Jerry? Prime loves the
Oh,
Cowboys.
hey, he might be
right?
he might be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys, depending on how this shakes out, guys.
Yeah, Jerry Jones.
I feel like the
might need to
fans of the
improve
90s of the
roof before I
Cowboys
head
don't
over.
want that, because that guy put the football on the star. But at the end
I
of
think
the
we're
day,
past that. I think Cowboys fans are in despair right now. I think they'll take anything they can get.
I think they'll take a new
Shador
stadium
Sanders
right
is
now,
going to the
too.
Raiders, first of all.
Yeah, me too.
Shador is going to
I think he wants to.
I think he goes to the Giants personally.
Giants.
No, Cam Ward goes to the Giants.
Not Cam Ward's
No,
going
Cam
to the
Ward's going
Seahawks.
to the Seahawks. I agree with that.
I think
won't
drafting.
drop.
I
He
think
won't
Giants. You think the Giants would draft him that
Cam Ward's going to
high?
drop. Cam Ward's going to drop.
I think he's a 15 to 20 pick.
Recruiters do not like the nonchalant guy. They do not. It is no, but I'm being serious when I say this though.
Now
Like,
just
that's
listen
a
to the
real-
Colin Coward show, dude. He hates the nonchalant guys.
Colin Coward, bro. I hate that guy so much. With
I
a
like
passion.
Colin Coward.
He's funny to watch, but his takes just sometimes are atrocious.
Okay, but he
Guys,
predicted
here's the
Washington to
real
be good this
question.
year.
Steelers.
And the Chargers. So
Yeah,
And he
but he was
predicted-
No one saw that.
wrong. He was wrong about other
okay,
teams
so he
as
was
well.
right twice but wrong once. So that makes him.
He
There's
was.
probably
Good.
other teams.
There
There
he
was
wrong
other teams
about.
too. He was wrong about the Cowboys. He was wrong too about.
He's probably
Everybody
wrong.
was. Most people were wrong about the Cowboys. They didn't think they'd be this bad.
He's
Did you guys
probably
think?
He
wrong
was wrong
the
about Bo
Vikings.
Nix too. He was
No,
wrong
no,
about
no.
Bo Nix.
He said the Vikings were going to be good.
He did say the Vikings were going to
He's
be
a
good.
big. He's a
But
big
he
Sam
was-
Darnold guy.
He was wrong about Bo Nix. He was also wrong
All right.
too about where Devontae Adams would get, like how he was going to be playing this year.
That's okay.
He was
okay.
also
Being wrong about Bo
Sorry.
Nix is hard to do right now.
He was
He
also
no, he
wrong
was
about-
right about Bo Nix.
No, he wasn't.
Dog, he said Bo Nix might be the best quarterback after their first season.
No, but no, his thing behind Bo Nix was that he was saying that Bo Nix was going to come out the gate swinging. Bo Nix had such a slow start.
Dog, he's been the best rookie quarterback.
Huh? No, he hasn't. It's
Who
Jaden
has been?
Daniels.
No, Jaden Daniels has fallen off, man.
Whoa.
What, dude? Are
Leading
you
the
watching
Commanders
football?
to
Are you
one of the best records
okay?
that they've
Okay,
had in
Trev, can
recent
you back me
years?
up here? There's
Are you kidding me?
he's not been. He hasn't played very well since the Chicago game.
Yeah, which is fair to say, but he's gone up against
It was
two
like
really
4
tough
weeks ago. That was like
defenses.
4 weeks ago, man.
No.
It's like
Sorry,
Dude, okay.
It was.
Okay, man. Like,
Jane Daniels
it's a
is
toss-up, though.
leading
No, this is stupid. Why are we arguing about Colin Coward takes? Let's get back to it.
The beauty in this is, yes, Sam Levitt will probably be one of these rookie quarterbacks.
He'll probably
in a
win
few
the
years.
Heisman this year.
He will.
All right, so
He's
the
not
point
winning
is,
Heisman, but that's cool.
if ASU does finish business, they are projected favorites. They have a 3.5 point spread on BYU. If they win, and we handle U of A, do you guys like ASU versus Colorado?
No.
I love it.
I don't hate it.
Ooh, so good. Shador Sanders, throw me that ball.
Yeah, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. And actually, I made a graphic for this to show you guys. Okay, so look at this: Big 12 title game in reach is your headline of the day. And so here are the scenarios. Okay, the scenario that Arizona State gets in, ASU wins out, and BYU gets a win against Houston. That's all it takes for them to get in. They just need BYU to lose next week and win the week after. Now, if ASU, Colorado, and Iowa State all win out, plus BYU loses, Arizona State actually misses out on the Big 12 championship. It's some tiebreaker. It's something about, I'm sure, strength of opponent, because they would have the same in common opponents. I think Iowa State would have the same record as Arizona State, but I think the strength of opponents is what changes it here for the Sun Devils. So, Arizona State's got to go out and handle business. I don't want to talk about Colorado yet because I'm still thinking about this week, and I'm also thinking about U of A.
Well, what happens if is there still a shot that BYU makes it in to ASU BYU?
Yeah, Colorado would have to lose.
Would have to lose twice.
So they'd have to lose against Kansas, and then who's their final week opponent?
That's a good question. I should probably
Oklahoma State.
Okay,
Is it Oklahoma State? Yeah, and
okay, so
I don't.
We'll see Colorado there.
Yeah, we will be. I think it's a pretty safe bet. You will be seeing Colorado in the Big 12
Unless
title
they
game.
lose this weekend.
Unless they lose this weekend, and then the sky's falling. Coach Prime is looking for a job, and he's looking for some real estate in Dallas. Either way, he probably is.
He's not leaving.
You don't think so?
Coach Prime, he's gonna follow Shador wherever he
goes. He's gonna follow.
That's
he's already
what's gonna
said he
happen.
wants to.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Shador's gonna keep playing daddy ball.
Okay.
Yes.
But let's talk about. So you mentioned the betting spread, 3-point favorites. Now, this is something I'm always going to say when we talk about betting. They automatically give the home team 3 points. So on a neutral field, they feel this is a toss-up. But then when we look at ESPN analytics, now I don't think ESPN analytics is like overly amazing, but it's shifted, right? To start the game, BYU had a 50% chance of taking this one, and Arizona State at a 49.9. And it's shifted since the analytics guys have started actually looking at the matchup, watching that Kansas film and looking to see what Arizona State's done just for the last couple of weeks. And it's shifted to 55.9% chance. Arizona State takes this one to 44.1 for BYU. So BYU starting to slip in some people's mind. They gained half a point. The spread started at 3.5. So it meant that odds makers thought of them as about a half a point favorite.
And the way people are betting as well.
It also follows the way people are betting. Over under 48.5 points. I think you can pretty confidently say that's going to go over. And then you don't think so?
No.
You think it's an under?
My formula for beating this BYU team is to make it an AFC North dogfight, and you need to keep Retzlaff under 20 points. You need to keep this BYU team under 20 points. Good defense. Get three possessions on the board. Get up by one or maybe two possessions. Get a little comfortable lead and just choke them out.
Well, with that being said, I guys it's probably that time. What's your guys' score predictions for this game?
I don't even want to. We haven't predicted score in the last couple of weeks just because I don't. It's hard to.
I got ASU 17-13.
17-13, so pretty much like similar to that SMU game for BYU earlier in the year.
Except that they won that game.
No, yeah, I know, but like in terms of it being a low scoring.
The only reason why they did that is because they knew SMU was more athletic than them, so they had to choke them out. It's the same thing with us. I know you like to say their trenches or their running game isn't that good, but they're still big boys.
Yeah,
like there's still some big guys, right? Like, when I was watching that Holy War, and it's like it was like the battle of just like a battle of attrition. Just like these guys were just going at each other. And you're not telling me that BYU isn't upset after Kansas and they're going to come down here and they're going to just give us the Big 12 contention away? Like, no, they're going to come out here banging. But what we really need to do is mitigate splash plays, keep the scores low, because I like us in a dogfight. I know I was saying this to Strider earlier. We can win in so many different ways.
Strider, what about you?
Well, I don't know.
Come on, you got to give one.
Okay, so I think Arizona State's offense, does about what they've done all season. I'd say about 24 points. Okay,
Yeah,
about 24 points on offense. I think that's pretty reasonable, and I think it's a close one, guys. I know how you feel, Kai. I know you think it's, this is a team that Arizona State should handle pretty mightily, but I think it's probably 24-20. Arizona State takes it.
That's not a bad take.
4-point game.
4-point game.
Similar
And on the road, that's about what you can expect from BYU, right? A one-score game.
Points. Yeah, get up by a possession, not 3 points. Don't let them get in a field goal away.
Mm-hmm.
And then just keep them on the other side of the field. Don't let them get into the red zone.
See, you're right. I do feel very strongly about this. I do think ASU should be able to handle BYU. But at the end of the day, BYU has still proven that they are not a bad school. I do think they're frauds, but I still don't think that they are a overall bad football program. Don't get it twisted. I think ASU will still win this game, but it's not going to be by much. Final score for me is going to be 27-24. ASU takes it by 3.
There we go. And that you have it here. We've accurately predicted, I believe. Trev has accurately predicted every single game except for Texas Tech. He predicted a win against Cincinnati, but he also said he felt like it was a trap game and he was nervous, so we'll give that one to him. Yeah. He predicted that from the beginning of the season, so he earns the benefit of the doubt. He was playing with his heart there,
and I think the really cool thing about this game is that we have a midday game in Tempe for the first time this season.
I'm excited, guys.
I'm excited. Me too.
We're gonna have to let's go to the Chuck Box beforehand. Get some burgers,
like I said,
dude.
I'm gonna go to the charter buses. Say what's up to the team.
I'm
gonna say what's up to the team. Then I'm gonna go skate to Chuck Box. Meet you guys there.
There we go.
Chuck Box, and we get through the gates by 11:30.
So the gates open, I think, 90 minutes before the game. So
hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah. So they'll be opening at noon, but we'll try to get there by 11:30. Hey, if you see us there,
come say hi.
Say hi.
Yeah.
We'll be around.
We'll just run up those run up those stairs, and we'll get to that front row.
Yeah, we'll be ready.
For sure.
And if you see us, say hi. And as always, forks up, guys.
Forks up.
We're so excited for this one. And thank you so much for joining us here today and listening to us talk about Colin Cowherd.